I'm so glad you are here. Today's digital letter from a therapist is about how we actually do lose our mind when we are overwhelmed and how that affects the way we show up in our relationships. My name is Dr. Emily Stone. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist and a professor. This is not therapy, but this is information I share in therapy. So, dear listener, let's get into it. Today, I want to share something from neuroscience that I think will definitely stick with you and I think could be helpful for you in your relationships. And it's simply called the brain in the palm of your hand. We have Dr. Daniel Siegel to thank for this model that is so unique. Here we go. We've got, this is your brain. All right, we're pretending this is your brain. This is the brain stem. The brain stem is where all of our survival needs are met. This is where all the automatic things that happen in our body, our heart beating, breathing, that kind of thing. This is the frontal cortex. The frontal cortex is where we use our brain to see perspective, consider different opinions, be able to think through things. It helps us avoid being impulsive. This is the amygdala. The amygdala is deep in the middle of the brain, and it is what helps us react in overwhelming situations. It's part of something called the limbic system, which is responsible for our emotions. Mostly the limbic system is responsible for our emotions, our big feelings. This is sometimes called the watchtower, the frontal cortex. The watchtower is up high. If you think about being in a watchtower, you can see everything below. You're able to see the whole picture and the context. Some people even call it the owl, the wise owl. You're up high. You have perspective. This is called the watchdog. Watchtower, watchdog. The watchdog is on the ground. It can't see the big picture. It's only concerned with what's in front of us. This is where we feel all those things that are associated with traumatic experiences, being triggered, being overwhelmed. So fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. This is where we are trying to deal with fast whatever is in front of us. When we get overwhelmed, when we get triggered, this is a cheesy part, we flip our lid. We literally do lose our mind. We lose access to the owl, the watchtower that can see the big picture, right? It's able to consider what your partner, your friend, your coworker, your parent, your child might be thinking, what their perspective might be. You are only concerned with your perspective, what's in front of you. You flip your lid and you are now all watchdog. Our bodies are actually designed to do this. It is our nervous system, which is our brain and our spinal cord, works together so that when we are experiencing something dangerous, like being chased by someone who wants to hurt us, by an animal, I mean, you name it, something that could be life-threatening, our bodies, our nervous system will bypass, because this takes extra time. It's just a little bit extra time in the brain, but it takes extra time to go through the frontal cortex. So all of that neural activity goes straight to the amygdala. It skips this because it's trying to help us react quickly. Because if you are running away from something trying to hurt you or somebody trying to hurt you, you don't want to stop and think, I wonder which of these routes might be more scenic. No, you are not thinking about that. You're trying to get away as fast as you can. The problem is, in our everyday life, we also get overwhelmed, not just by things that are trying to hurt us, but by everyday stressors, by conflict with our loved ones, with our partner, with people at work. And when that happens, we will also flip our lid, and it becomes almost impossible to have a meaningful conversation at that point. Let me show you a couple of pictures. So this is an image. We've got the upper brain, the midbrain, and then the brainstem. We lose access to the upper brain and we are all midbrain, which is that feeling center. I want to show you another image here. We have the frontal cortex, the mammal, kind of that animal brain right here, all emotion and reaction. And then sometimes this is called the lizard brain, heartbeat, breathing. It's considered the oldest part of our brain for humans. It's been around with us the longest. A little more complex, we have this figure that actually shows you the brain. So the cortex is the top layer of the brain that covers the entire surface up here. And it has lobes, and this is the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is what we're talking about. That is what we use to have perspective. And that's what we literally lose when we're in conflict. What I encourage people to do is when you notice, maybe you notice your partner has flipped their lid, don't try to have a meaningful repair conversation at that point. Take a beat, take some moments and regulate. Go on a walk, take a hot shower, drink a cup of tea, get under a weighted blanket. This is physically helping your brain regain access to your watchtower, to your owl. And it really is biology. You can't just think your way out of being that watchdog. You need to help your body bring that lid back on. And it does that through some very intentional body care. That's it for today. Again, I'm so glad you were here. See you next time on Letters from a Therapist.